Hi, everyone. Dr. Frankie here, and I've got a lot of awesome questions to answer today. But before we jump into the questions, I want to encourage you to join Venus. Now, for a limited time, you get the app for free. So get in there by visiting welcometovenus.com and download the app and register, sign up for it so that you too can submit questions to me because I want to keep them coming. I look forward to being here every week with you all. Your questions are really good. They're thought provoking. Lots of them get me even thinking. And I think they're so diverse and broad, the topics, that you're all definitely wanting to grow and learn and kind of really being fearless in submitting these questions. They're good. And know that if you've got this question, many other people are also curious about something very similar. So let's jump in. We're going to start with B. Wrote, my partner has been slowly gaining weight throughout our relationship, and it has started to impact my attraction to her. I love her deeply, but the weight gain has gotten to the point where it impacts her daily life, and I am seriously concerned about her health. What physically and mentally? Both physically and mentally. I don't want to hurt her or make her feel judged, but it's starting to impact our intimacy and it's changing the way I see her. How can I handle this compassionately without hurting my partner? So I'm sure many of you can relate to feeling, having gained weight. I certainly have gone through fluctuations in my life, and it can cause you to be very self conscious and ashamed. And, it affects self esteem. So this is a topic that needs to be handled very delicately. And I think if there's a way to help her mobilize and get more active and live more of a healthy lifestyle so that she can naturally lose weight, I think that that will be the best way of doing it. And the way that you can do that indirectly without bringing up the conversation, I think this is a way to start and see if it makes a difference, is to actually encourage her to join you. So maybe if you're cooking meals together, be, choosing meals that are healthier, that are leaner, if you're eating lean meats and no creams and things like that, try to choose healthier foods, and be doing that yourself, and suggest eating together. Also fitness, go on walks together, do things that are active together. And in this, she's not focusing on losing weight. Also, when we focus on losing weight, if that's the objective, sometimes it's even harder because we obsess over it. We tend to even get stuck in that, or we can even gain weight. So try it indirectly. And if that doesn't work, then write back, share a little bit about what's happening, and then I can answer that next question. But hopefully you don't even get there and you both can kind of get more active, eat healthier, sleep more. You got to get 8 hours of sleep. When we don't sleep, we don't lose weight. So if she's not sleeping well, see if you can figure out some good sleep hygiene together. Stay hydrated and low stress. Figure out how to lessen the stress in your lives. We can all do better about this topic, around this topic. So I think join and encourage her to join in with you and see where you can get with that. Thanks so much, B. Elizabeth, why is it so much harder for me to get over short, messy situationships compared to my long-term relationships? I find myself ruminating over people who probably were never right for me. But when my longer, more stable and healthy relationships ended, I was mostly fine and able to move on quickly. Does this mean I have attachment issues? Not necessarily. I want you to look up something called trauma bonding. So in a lot of these situationships, it triggers, oftentimes we have, at this point in life, we have had relationships, right? We have, even with family members, where they've let us down. We've been attached to them and have been let down repeatedly. And we internalize those messages to mean certain things. And there are chemical changes that happen in the brain that cause us to, right? We get increases of serotonin, we get oxytocin. So there's a lot of situationships come with a lot of someone showing up for you in the moment, and then they're kind of elusive. You're feeling like you're not connecting. You're not sure if they're still into you. They might be dating other people. All of those uncertainties, and they bring up insecurity in us, and we don't tend to thrive in those environments long term. We tend to thrive in things that are consistent, in relationships where there's honesty, openness, consistency, reliability, dependability, all those things that tend to feel boring to us. So situationships are exciting because there's all of this like neurochemicals that get secreted in the brain that make us feel excited. But they also, as we get taken up really high, feel like lots of excitement and adrenaline and all the chemicals that then we get dropped down when the person isn't responding to our text, or left on red, or we had a plan and they cancel last minute. Like, they don't take the relationship seriously because it's a situationship, and they're probably dating other people too at the same time. So it's very normal to feel uneasy, anxious, feel like your self-esteem isn't as good as it was in in the past relationships where there was this consistency and it was healthy and stable, like you described. There's a lot of not knowing, uncertainty that's going to bring up insecurity, anxiety. It's going to cause you to question, your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors, and all of that gets you it can keep you stuck and wanting to kind of have a different outcome. So maybe it feels like a challenge. So you're in this situationship, maybe you can get them to be in more of a monogamous relationship with you, or there's just like, it's way more complicated, and emotionally we can get entangled in all of that, especially if we've had past relationships with folks who were insecurely attached. So they were touch and go, or they were anxiously attached, or avoidantly attached. And there's a lot of that flavor that comes up in situationship that can keep you ruminating and, staying in longer than you should. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that you have an attachment issue. I think it's perfect. It breeds, that kind of relationship breeds uncertainty, anxiety, clinginess, all of that, because it's not consistent or stable. So blame it on neurochemicals, and try to find somebody who can be more consistent. If you want to have that excitement, maybe it's somebody who's able to show up more consistently, or you have ground rules that you set up so that you're not feeling so uneasy and uncomfortable and all like fear-based thoughts and all of that. So hope that's helpful, Elizabeth. All right, Teresa. I've always struggled with having a low sex drive. It's not that I dislike sex. I just almost never feel that spark or craving that other people talk about. Even in relationships where I felt safe and attracted to my partner, it didn't really change. I feel like I'm totally missing out, and maybe I can't enjoy sex properly. Is there actually a way to build a stronger libido, or is this just how I am? Oh my gosh, Teresa, I love this question because we are all unique. And like most things, there's a range. So we have a range of libido, there's fluidity. So at different stages in life, you may have a higher libido, lower libido. You may be somebody who just from the outset has a lower libido. So it's not black and white. There's a range. And it may very well mean that, yeah, you're not somebody who gets really, sexually stimulated, or maybe your way of connecting with people doesn't have anything to do with sexual desire and has to do with an intellectual connection, or it has to do with an emotional connection. And that's how you feel more deeply connected with people, folks that you have an attraction to. It's not really focused on sex. So look up sapiosexual, demisexual. That may help you understand yourself a little better. But remember, us humans like to label each other. We like to put one another in boxes, and we don't neatly fit oftentimes. We're way more complex than that. And again, there's a range. So it's okay if you have a lower libido, lower sex drive. There are plenty of people that have lower libidos. I want you also to look up asexuality, gray sexuality, learn about that, see where you fall on the range, and learn a little bit more about, what that looks like, and see if it resonates for you. And it will be really, I think, helpful and validating, so you don't feel so alone. There's nothing wrong with you. And is there a way to build a stronger libido? I think it's probably, for you, my guess is that it's not about sexual attraction for you. It's more about being connected either on an emotional level or an intellectual level. And then the, interest and intimacy will follow. So libido, I think it's much more vast than that. So start there. Let us know how that feels. I'm so curious. What a great question. I'm certain people are asking the same question themselves, and that, they just haven't shared it yet. So thank you. Stacy, I have a terrible history of codependency in my relationships with other women. And now I'm so afraid of starting a new one. How can I tell the difference between emotional connection and codependency? What are some signs I should look for? So this is also really important because codependency is very, very common, and it can be confusing, right? So like, how do I know the difference between, like you said, emotional connection and codependency? When we're being codependent, I heard this one time and it really resonated for me. It's like co-signing somebody's bullshit. So if you're like, spinning around the drain, swirling around the drain, and meaning like you're sacrificing yourself for this relationship, for somebody, where you're not setting good boundaries, you're struggling with self-esteem, you have a lot of fears coming up and anxiety, fear of abandonment, you're beginning to minimize or ignore your needs in support of theirs. You're avoiding conflict when it comes up. You're avoiding confronting them when, things come up that don't feel quite right to you. There can be also this element of people pleasing, like, constantly putting yourself out there and putting your needs aside. Sometimes it's disguised in like this caretaking, where you're somebody who takes responsibility for other people's problems, for their decisions, for their emotions. And it can be disguised as like trying to fix or save. So people see you as like, oh, this is somebody who's so caring and, always there to help and support, but it's all at your expense and sacrificing your own sense of self, your self-worth. um, you're not able to say no to people because, you want to please them, and you're not looking out for yourself at all. Your needs aren't getting taken care of or attended to. So those are signs to look out for. So really think about practicing, like setting some small boundaries. Like if a friend asks you to help her move, for example, and you're like, you know what, I actually have plans. I'm not going to cancel my plans this time. I'm going to say I'm not available, unfortunately. And if it makes you feel better, say anytime next time, feel free to ask. And of course, I'll be there to support if I'm free and able to. Start practicing saying no. And yeah, it's a good start. Hopefully that's helpful. All right, Paula, I'm a 56-year-old woman, and I've been dating someone for about 4 months now that I really like. She and her ex-wife broke up well over a decade ago, but of course they share custody of a child, but also still share holidays together as a family and co-own places that they each spend time together in. I have no doubt their past romance and trust. Wait, I have no doubt they are past romance and trust this when she tells me this for many reasons. But my fear is, even though this is so early on with us, that there will never be room for another person like me. This is a trigger for me, as I had gone through this once before with a partner whose biological family was just never going to accept me, so holidays were out. Maybe I just fear upcoming holidays and I'm afraid of the future. Any thoughts? Well, first thing I want to say is that we want to always be mindful of projecting past experiences onto current situations, partners, right? Because it's just we're wired to protect ourselves. So if we've been let down in the past and there's something reminiscent, or there's a slight flavor of something that reminds us of a relationship we had in the past, it's going to bring up little spidey senses and create a little, like, it's going to want to protect us and jump in and kind of, just keep us away from that feeling, because it holds a memory that's painful. So that's the first thing I want to say. Second, I want to notice like how this person that you're dating now, Paula, is like, they redefine the relationship. They were able to put their own shit aside. They've been divorced for a decade, or separated, broken up, whatever. And they have found a way to forge a path ahead where they're celebrating holidays together, they have a child, and it's in the best interest of the family to do that. So this speaks to this woman's ability to prioritize her child, family, relationships. I'm guessing she has good communication skills. She's able to put her own ego aside, her own pain, whatever she went through, because breakups are painful. And they have this beautiful ritual that they celebrate yearly. And I get also that you feel some fear and doubt that there'll be room for you. I would trust that it sounds like this is somebody who knows how to prioritize family, and they value relationships and family, and that's going to come through in time. I would give her a chance. I would continue. It's like a yellow flag. You notice it, you're not ignoring it, and you're going to continue moving forward, and be an active observer. See, is she making a point to create space for the two of you to have quality time together? Is she able to get a babysitter so that you can have that time together? Do you feel like you're frequently like on the back burner, or is she trying to weave you into a busy life? She's a mom. She shares custody, so she has some free time. But also there'll be things that come up where she's going to have to navigate or negotiate some coverage for her kid so that she has time with you. So keep your eyes wide open. And I would give her the benefit of the doubt, and let's see what happens. Stay open, keep your heart open, keep your mind open, because this is somebody who knows how to do relationships, and you have a history that's going to make you feel very protective. So hold those in the forefront of your mind as you proceed with caution. All right, everyone, I just got alerted that I'm at time. Thank you so much for being here with me. Submit those questions, download the app, and I'm going to see you all here next week. Kisses, hugs, love you all. Bye, everyone.